ready for another lesson?
Oh, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I am one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on today's episode, we have news on a new Fast and Furious movie. Yes, we just got F9, but F10 is coming, baby. We'll get to the trailer talk. It's a Star Wars anime trailer that I'm actually very excited for. We'll get to the new streaming. It's a light list this week. What we're watching, of course, and then our main review for the episode is Reminiscence. But before we get to any of that, and joining me today, as always, it's Nightlife Nathaniel Gingrich.
Nightlife or Nightlight? I like them both, actually, to be honest with you.
I was going with Nightlife.
Okay.
Because obviously, you know.
The movie.
Yeah, the Miami Nightlife.
Yeah.
Bit of sizzle. Yeah.
Bit of sizzle.
What's up, dude? How's it going?
Good, man. How you doing? How's your week?
Busy, yeah. Another one of those weeks where it just, feels like it's gone in a snap, and you blink your eyes, and here we are again.
It's weird. Because I feel the same way, but at the same time, I feel like it's like I feel both of the ends of that at the same time.
Sure.
Like it feels like I blinked and I'm here, but also like I did so much in the last week. Like it was a long week, but I'm glad to be here. You know.
Oh, always glad to be here in the squadron.
Always glad to be here.
Of course.
Second member of the squadron, of course, is Turn Back Time Tyler Verdalis.
Whoa.
Even though I guess you're not really turning back time.
Well, if I could turn back time.
Yeah? Do you want to be Turn Back Time Nathaniel?
No, it's a song. Sure.
Oh.
If I could turn back time.
Sorry, I'm not a big Cher fan.
How dare you? Do you believe?
In what?
Life After Love.
I don't know if I can tell you. Like, I can name like 5 Cher songs.
Do it.
I just told you I could.
Oh, I thought you said I could. It sounded like it came through. I thought you were like saying like I could name like 5, but not any more than that.
No, I said I don't even think I could name 5. I don't even know if I could name 1. You said something about Turning Back Time. I'll go with that one. And something about Believing in Love, I think. And there's number 2.
Children of the Millennium, man.
Hey.
Tyler, how are you? Talk to me.
Yeah, how you doing? How you doing? Turn Back Time.
I'm great. Speaking of busy weeks,
yeah, no
my
kidding.
weekend was jam-packed.
Yeah?
Got a lot done.
What was going on?
Congrats, Annie and Brett.
Oh,
They got
yeah,
married.
That's right. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah.
So you were a groomsman, but not the best man, right?
Correct.
All right. How was that?
It was good, man.
Yeah.
We had a really good time.
Wedding went all right? No issues?
Oh yeah, no, it was great. The only issue was one of Brett's buttons on his coat popped off.
Oh.
And we got it sewn back on pretty quick.
there you
But I mean, like anybody on that day, any small thing can turn into just
thing. Yeah.
yeah. So we refer this to a massive wardrobe malfunction because that's what Brett called it.
Huge.
And it shall go down in history as such.
All right. Oh, I mean, whatever he says goes. So, if it was, it was. And then rounding out the squadron, of course, it's Big Baka BlakeHolder.
What up? Interesting name.
Yeah, I mean, I like the name
What
of
did
the
it-
Baka.
Yeah, all right, we'll talk about it.
Okay, yeah, hold it off.
Bit
I
of
guess.
sizzle.
Yeah.
How you doing,
Pretty
Blake?
spoiler alert. I'm good, dude. Can't complain. Had a pretty good weekend. Weather was cool. Got to see some friends. Not much. Kind of more
hot
excited
here,
for this
man.
weekend. Get to go to Phoenix and see one of my buddies I haven't seen in about 2 years.
Ooh, man, are you ready for that heat?
No, man, I'm not. So after talking to you, you kind of gave me the rundown, and obviously talking to my buddy Roof. Shout out Roof. Yeah, he was like, dude, it's just fucking hot, dude. There's no way around it.
When are you going?
So, I get there Thursday.
Oh yeah, so yeah,
So
it's
Thursday
projected to be
through Sunday, and
108.
It's a little elongated weekend.
Yeah, so it's 108 coming Thursday. You're actually going out of town once it drops down below 100. Unfortunately for you. You won't
It's
quite
really
miss
hot
out
down
triple
here.
digits, but
I think it hit 95 today, and everyone was walking around, or maybe 97. That's what I've seen the high as. But and then we had class in person today, so everyone was on campus walking around, which is cool because obviously last year was all online. You had none of that. You walk around,
Sure.
It was like not a complete ghost town, but like compared to how it is supposed to be and how it was my freshman year, it was nice to see everyone back on campus. It's nice like to run into people, and
For sure.
I'm excited for that, but not excited for that 95-degree weather. Everyone was just dying today. Yeah, I had a professor. He had you have to wear masks in class, and he had.
I was going to ask that. Do they have that like mandated or
Yeah,
was it by class, by professor?
it's only in class, and I think it's I'm all for masks, but I think it's dumb that it's only in class. Like I was in class today, had to wear a mask, and then I went to go get something from the bookstore, and no one was wearing a mask. For me, it should be all or nothing. Yeah, it should be all or nothing.
it does seem a little odd.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It go one way or the other. But yeah, I don't know how long those mask things or the mask requirement will be in place. But I had a professor who had a gray mask on, and he told us at the beginning of the class that he is from Alaska and that the heat was just not for him. And then so slowly throughout the class, throughout the 15 minutes, you could just see the sweat streaks on his
sweating
cheek.
through the mask.
Yeah, going down his mask. It was just funny. But he's a nice professor. I'm liking my classes so far. So.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm also liking the release date for Fast and Furious 10.
Ooh, we applaud that segue, folks.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Do you have it on your lap this week, Nathaniel?
I do.
I like it. Because I was wondering earlier when you started the recording, you didn't move. That's what threw me off.
Oh, yes.
Usually you have to bend over onto the coffee table, but you didn't move.
I've mastered the art of doing it psychically.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Anytime I see something Fast and Furious now, like you guys know, like that SpongeBob meme where like the guy's like, "Oh brother, this guy stinks." You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel when
that's
I
all
see
you're going.
Fast and Furious stuff.
This is a bunch of barnacles.
I don't want to see this again, man.
You're not going back?
Yeah, I'm in. Tell me about it.
I'm in, bro.
When is it?
They're in space.
Where are they going to go now? They've
Underground.
been to space.
Mole people.
The center of the earth.
Don't give them any ideas. All right, don't give them any ideas.
What's that thing called in Godzilla vs Kong, where they take Kong with
yeah,
like the Middle Earth.
Yeah, Center Earth or whatever, or Inner Earth.
They'll go there.
I forgot what they called it. They might. I mean, I don't know where else they're gonna.
Todd,
I don't know how they're gonna
remember?
keep one upping themselves, but yeah, Fast 10, whatever they end up calling it. I don't know if it'll be F10 or Fast 10, whatever it ends up being. Set for April 7th, 2023. So
2023.
2023, under 2 years. So I'm assuming this starts filming somewhat soon. And directed by Justin Lin. The 10th and 11th films of the Fast franchise will both be directed by Justin Lin, which is good news for me, at least, because I think we all can kind of agree he's kind of done the best stuff with this franchise.
I would say so, yeah. At this point.
So that's good news. And I think they've confirmed the 11th is going to be the last one. Does that sound right?
Thank you.
I think they said, yeah, the 10 will be a two-parter, basically, is I think how they're doing it.
Gotcha. So, yeah, I mean, it's coming. It's hard to say I'm excited because, after 9 was fine. It wasn't, like, amazing for me. Like, I liked it, but I'm not, like, looking forward to this, like, crazy. It's something I'm like, oh, I wish this was like sooner. Like 2023, yeah, that's fine for me. Like I'll wait. I don't need this anytime sooner.
Tyler?
It's just whatever.
Are you out on the Fast franchise now?
Not like out. It's just Rapido Diaz can come. It's whatever. I'm not overly excited for it. I don't really care what they do next. It is what it is.
All right.
As long as Song Kang is in these last two movies, they will have my money.
All right, I gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah. So that's all I have to say about that. I mean,
Still not watching Hobbs and Shaw.
It's funny how that movie just really, they just kind of abandoned it at this point, didn't they?
As it should.
Debatable. I kind of I think I went back and finished F8, but I still haven't gone back to watch Hobbs and Shaw, so maybe I should. Just for the sake of completion value.
I think it's worth a watch just to how weird it is, but yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I will. We'll see. I'm TBD on that. I got a lot of other things I got to watch first, though.
True.
That's not like on my top list, you know what I'm saying? All right, well, that's it for the news, really. Besides trailer talk, where we're talking about the new Star Wars Visions trailer, which is going to be a Star Wars anime, essentially, made by the Japanese animation studio. Let me see if I can get the name here.
It's a bunch of different ones. So it's going to be, I think, seven different studios, 9 different episodes. So there will be some overlap, but definitely, as you'll see from the trailer, each one has a unique style, which looks really cool.
Yes. Now, Nathaniel, you did inform me before we recorded that this is not canon.
It is, yeah. It is not canon.
Which is very disappointing for me, because I would be so in on this if this was just like 7 different cool stories from the history of Star Wars or modern Star Wars or maybe the future Star Wars after the sequels that actually like had some impact. Maybe not like crazy amount, because I don't think every Star Wars fan is going to watch this, especially the casual ones that are just like, oh, I like Star Wars, I'll watch the movies. But like if for the hardcore Star Wars fans, which I'm going to assume there's at least some overlap for a lot of people with anime and Star Wars. I'm sure there's a kind of a lot of fans that are into both. I think it would be awesome if they actually made these and matter in the canon, and the fact that they're not makes me slightly less disinterested, honestly. I will still definitely check this out because I think the style is really cool.
Yeah.
And I think anime is actually a really good format for Star Wars, and I'm glad that they decided to do this, and it looks very interesting based on the trailer. But the fact that it is not canon definitely soils it for a little bit for me.
I don't know, man. I see where you're coming from on this one, and I think I would prefer if it was canon. However, I think with Star Wars, you already have like so much of the old extended universe, which has now been shifted into the non-canon realm of Star Wars Legends anyways, that I think most fans aren't necessarily going to mind too much. And I think the other thing is, I think this is going to get really crazy, which just opens them up to kind of do anything now. And so I think maybe that will be, that'll be interesting. We'll see some characters played in some ways that we maybe haven't before. There'll be tie-ins that we didn't expect or anything like that. So I'm not too worried about it being canon or not, I think it's interesting that they've definitely decided to go this route. I think, like you said, it totally makes sense to do this in an anime form. The original Star Wars series pulled so much from Japanese samurai films and everything already that there's always been this kind of connection, I think, between the Star Wars universe and definitely Japanese style filmmaking. So this all works for me, and the trailer looks crazy and awesome in my opinion.
Yeah, no, you're right. It definitely even looks from the trailer that they are doing some crazy stuff, and perhaps that's only because it's not canonical. And if that's the case, yeah, I understand. But I wish they would have done some crazy stuff. Maybe not as crazy. I would have rather the trade-off be they do some crazy stuff, maybe not as crazy as they are doing, and it be canon, than it be not canon and they do some absolute wild stuff. For me personally, I would have preferred that trade. But yeah, no, you're definitely right. It looks like, even you can see in the trailer there are some wild things going on. Some people like fighting in space.
Yeah, there's there's a lightsaber like weed whacker looking thing that's out there.
Yeah, I'm down for this, and I'm very excited. Like I said, I'm definitely gonna watch this. The fact that it's not canon does not deter me from it enough. And we're getting it pretty soon. It's gonna premiere on September 22nd. It's going to be available in the sub and dub format. The dub cast includes Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Bobby Moynihan, David Harbour, Henry Golding, Jamie Chung, and George Takei, and then a few others who I don't recognize personally. But it seems like they got us, even that lineup I'm pleased with, the ones that I listed off.
Well, Blake, how about as a much time confirmed non-Star Wars fan, is this something that's in an anime style that's not canon? Does that make it a little at all interesting to you in any ways?
I think I'm just so far removed from it in its entirety as a whole. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get into it, right? Where I don't like, where does this fall even like in a chronological timeline? of Star Wars.
Well, that's the thing. Maybe who cares? You know, like
I was
right,
gonna
it may-
say,
it may not
if
matter.
you've never seen any of them, then I think this might be
Right.
a good way for you to maybe get into them, or if this is even as far as you go. I mean, that's still a pretty big win, and I think that's
Now-
probably part of their idea for this.
Okay, that's a good point, Ty. And do they not already have? Excuse me, don't they already have like an animated Star Wars series? Or
They
am
have
I
animated
mistaken?
stuff,
Yeah.
but this is like a full blown like drawn kind of style, like anime.
Well, they've-
Okay,
yeah,
right,
they've
right,
Different styles of it, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've literally gone to different animation studios in Japan that do anime regularly and have an established style
Right.
and look and everything, and just said, "Here, make a Star Wars thing."
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
maybe
not
I'll check it out.
saying-
Maybe we'll have you guys detail it. You know what I mean? Then if it's interesting, I might pop on an episode or so. We'll see.
Yeah, just as the one person who doesn't care one way or another, you got a unique viewpoint here.
Yeah. Not big on the sci-fi, fellas.
But Tyler, you're big into Star Wars. I mean, what does this do for you?
Yeah, I think these are great. When I first saw these, it was a little jaw dropping. I was very hyped.
Me too, man.
Excuse
I was couldn't like it. It looked awesome. Like everything
Yeah,
about this looks incredible.
They look great. They look like they're stylized well. I obviously trust anime very highly, so
Sure.
I'm not, I'll think I'll be okay with the storyline and everything like that.
There seems to be one that's like a battle of the bands for like Jabba's palace or something like that on Tatooine, which seems cool.
Yeah, it'll be really unique, and it'll be cool because you'll definitely get some different styles as far as storylines too. It's not just gonna all be like action. We might
Right.
get some more drama kind of styles in there, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm excited.
I wonder if this will be something they like come back to and do like another season of or something like that, or if it'll only be kind of like this limited series. I suppose it just like all things.
I think-
it depends how well it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was about to say. I think it just depends on how well it performs. Which, like I said, I think there's going to be a lot of overlap between anime fans and Star Wars fans that do check this out, and even the Star Wars fans that aren't into anime will check this out. I think, like the hardcore ones. So, I think this will do well. I could see it outperforming the Marvel shows, potentially. We'll have to see on that one. Maybe how the
That'll
numbers
be-
shake out after the streaming services.
Yeah,
but,
That'll be an interesting thing as those things move forward, as Disney kind of creates more of those flagship big name shows, how often they run or something like that. Because even with like the Netflix stuff, it was never as tied in as these Disney shows have been so far. So, if like Loki and Captain America and Falcon are doing crazy numbers, but WandaVision maybe didn't do so much. Do you think is Disney got to keep that around, or
Yeah.
and then what if Wanda's Vision storyline is more important? How do they kind of rework that? So
Sure.
it'll be interesting, I think, moving forward over the next few years, what happens with all those Disney Plus shows.
I definitely agree. Well, catch this on September 22nd. I'm sure we'll be giving you guys the rundown on it as it comes out. This is definitely one I want to check out. So, what's up, listeners? Weren't expecting this, were you? It's Post Pod Squadrant.
Not
Welcome to
only
Post
post pod Adam, but also
it's
the
not-
post
it's
pod with the
Post
rest
Adam
of us.
Plus Post Pod Squadrant. You love to see it. You're probably shocked, as I can imagine, because we didn't mention the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer at the beginning of the episode. That's because it hadn't come out when we started recording the episode, and it dropped mid-episode. So you'll see in a little bit when we get to the review segment, we do take a little bit of a pause as we go and watch it immediately to get you this riveting breaking news. But we're tacking this on to Trailer Talk here, as you can tell. But Spider-Man No Way Home, guys, first teaser trailer. They say it's a teaser. It's 3 minutes long. Just call it a trailer. I'm tired of these teaser trailers being fucking
Yeah,
5
definitely
minutes.
not a teaser.
Yeah, not a teaser at all, bro. 3 minutes and 3 seconds, and boy, oh boy, did I love every single second. Spider-Man, as some of you may know, is my favorite superhero, and I love Tom Holland, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's it lets you know, doesn't it? Like, they're not teasing around this anymore. They're laying everything on the table, it seems.
We're full blown multiverse.
Yes, Doctor Strange featured heavily, right out the gate. So it very clearly seems to be stepping into that Tony Starkless void that was in Spider-Man's life up to this point.
Correct. So the big reveal, obviously, is that multiverse you mentioned, but seems to be Green Goblin is featured. One of his little Green Goblin bombs is featured.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, hopefully Willem Dafoe. I mean, that'd be crazy if Willem Dafoe comes back, because that's kind of
Is
what.
he on here on the entry list?
Yes, Boondock Saints.
Ah, yeah. But yeah, that'll be cool if he comes back. He's an awesome Green Goblin.
But then who is the actor that plays Doc Ock?
Alfred Molina.
Yeah,
He comes in at the end
that
of
was
the trailer.
probably the highlight for me, for sure.
Well,
Would see
when they
Doc Ock
tossed out
back.
the Green Goblin bomb, I was like, oh shit, because that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Looks like Electro is in there as well.
Yes, I did see some lightning in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I
didn't
caught
catch
that. I
What
caught
to do.
there's some lightning, and in that same shot, it looks like Sandman might be in it.
Really? Okay, I didn't see
Yeah.
that one.
If you go back and rewatch that,
Did we hear? Was that Tobey Maguire's voice in the voiceover?
I don't know if I didn't catch that.
What
but
voiceover?
it could very well be in there.
Maybe I was just expecting it or,
Yeah,
or trying to hear it.
I don't know.
I thought it sounded like there was a moment when they were talking, kind of building up to the Green Goblin reveal. Then I thought like Tobey Maguire said something there, but maybe I was wrong. Very easily.
I
could
don't know.
have
For me, mainly Doctor Strange's narration. This just dropped, listeners, so we haven't had a time to deep dive into this. And we're honestly not even the best people to deep dive in this. So you can probably find all those comic book guys that do this for a living and can analyze every frame to the
Mr.
best of its
Sunday
ability.
movies. He's very good. You should check him out.
Yeah. But regardless, multiverse confirmed. We don't see Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire, but I'd be shocked if they don't show up. And I'm glad they had. I really hope they don't show them in the trailer because it's going to be a bit of a get hype moment when they come on screen. I hope they don't show them in any of the trailers. I think we got enough to where it's like, all right, guys, it's here, but then they don't have to explicitly tell us. I'm very excited for this. The release date is set for December 17th. So we are about, 3 months out? 4 months out? A little under 4 months out.
Yes, sir.
With plenty of content to entertain us in the meantime. We got Shang-Chi, of course, in a couple weeks. And then we got What If going right now. And there's another one in between then, right? There's another movie or TV show, isn't there?
No, I mean, Shang-Chi's out in like 2 weeks.
Is it? Okay. For some reason, I thought there might be something between
Oh, the
Shang-Chi
Eternals.
and
There was a...
Eternals. Yep,
Yeah,
there you
which
go.
they dropped another trailer this week too, I think.
They did. We probably should have brought that up as well. But I watched that trailer and liked it a lot.
It looks really different from
It
a
does.
lot
We
of the
really
other
actually
Marvel
should have
stuff.
put that in trailer talk as well. We kind of dropped the ball on that one. That's on
Well,
me.
we're talking about it now.
You want to? We can.
We are. Well, we're talking about it right now. You and I are. The Eternals. Yeah, I watched the trailer as well. It looked like really very different stylistically from a lot of the more recent Marvel movies, which are even more like contrast. Which is even more in contrast in tone, I think, to the Spider-Man movie too, which seems very lighthearted and very kind of, I don't know, it seems even more like Peter Parker-y than normal. Like even the whole like central conflict of the whole multiverse in the No Way Home seems to be just because Peter he wants to have certain people remember that he is Spider-Man. And that's just that's such a Peter Parker problem to have of like, it's still kind of like that high school kid, you don't want things to change too much, but you want to still have big things happen problem. So, I think the Eternals looks really interesting too, though.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the style looks definitely a lot different on Eternals. And what I'm going to be very interested to see is you have Shang-Chi coming out, which looks like has a style of a Kung Fu movie. You now have Spider-Man, which is a traditional Marvel movie. You now have Eternals, which is, I wouldn't even say DC vibes, but
It's like space epic. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Something like that. And when they inevitably have these characters interlace on screen, how are they going to change the style of the film to match what? Because if we kind of have an idea of who Shang-Chi is with that kind of style, I'm interested to see how they'll portray him when they mix him in with Spider-Man, and same thing with Eternals. That's my only kind of concern. I trust Marvel to do that. I think they've obviously proven they can have more than one character on the screen in the past, but for the most part, those characters have had similar tones to them in their individual movies or whatever movies they're featured in, where this is all very different styles, which I love, but it makes me a little apprehensive, and I hope they have some thought into how they're going to intertwine these when they do.
I'm sure they will, and I see where you're coming from.
Cool. Blake,
It's not like a poker thing where it's just like, I see you and I call.
Yeah, man. I don't have too much to throw in. Like I said, I just kind of caught a few cameos, I guess you could say, for the trailer. But yeah, dude, this is the first Marvel thing that I've watched, and I was like, yeah, I'm like fucking sold all over again.
Yeah.
Right. But I think that's just because it's got a ton of nostalgia behind it, right? You're seeing Doc Ock, you're seeing Green Goblin again, you're seeing Sandman again, you're seeing Electro again, you're seeing Tobey Maguire, right? You're seeing Andrew Garfield, you're seeing all these things. It's like, hey, that's what we've been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's finally here, so I'm sold, dude.
I wonder how long
in
this
the
movie's
story.
going to be.
2.5 plus.
You think?
I hope.
I
Give
think,
me as
I
much
think at least
Spider-Man
220.
as possible.
Forgive me, I say 220 for sure.
Give me it all. Give me a 4-hour Snyder cut Spider-Man
Inject
No
it
Way
into
Home.
my veins.
Give me a 2-parter. Yeah, I don't know if we have much more to say on that. I'm very excited. We'll see that in a few months, and I'm sure we'll probably do a review for it. I would really hope so. All right,
Yeah.
back to the regularly scheduled program. Cool. Well, we can move on here to Adam Schwartz's completely subjective new to streaming list for the week of August 22nd through August 28th to Netflix. We're getting Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, Betrayal, and Greed. This is a documentary on the late and great Bob Ross. Another documentary coming to Netflix. That's fun.
Yeah. Do you know anything about Bob Ross?
Yes, I do know Bob Ross. Not a big fan of Cher. Decent fan of Bob Ross.
Fair enough. But I was just like, do you know anything about him as a person beyond like just the television personality or anything?
Actually,
I don't think
you know
I know
what?
anything really.
I do not know much about his background as a
Yeah,
person.
me
I
either.
I just know him as the famous painter. And
I'm
stuff,
worried
so.
by Betrayal and Greed though.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Maybe there's some deep, dark secrets over there in the painting community. I don't know. That's going to be it for Netflix. Nothing coming to Amazon Prime or Hulu. HBO Max is getting San Andreas, the 2015 The Rock flick, the disaster movie. So, I mean, if you're down for a disaster movie, I think Greenland was a recommend by Blake if you're down for one of those. Or was it No, Blake, did you watch Greenland or was it
It's
Nathaniel?
Tyler.
It was me.
No, that
Tyler
was
watched
Oh, it was
Nathaniel.
Tyler. I was completely wrong.
both
Tyler,
wrong.
Tyler, you said Greenland was like worth a watch if you wanted one of those
Yeah.
movies, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, maybe go watch that instead of San Andreas. But that's coming to HBO Max if you want it. To Disney Plus, we're getting Marvel Studios' What If Episode 3, and Cruella is finally coming to Disney Plus without having to pay for it. So
Nice.
if you were interested to see how that flick turned out, you now can for free.
I think I will.
Well, let us know. Report back here.
Okay, gang.
Nathaniel, you might have to report back to us on episodes 2 and 3 of What If, because I've not caught up, and I don't know, Tyler, if you have either.
I haven't even started.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah, I've seen episode 2. Obviously, episode
Sorry, I guess
3
not episode
isn't
3
out
is
yet.
Yeah, my bad.
But yeah,
Episode 2.
episode 2. Really enjoyed this one. This was the first Chadwick episode that we were getting. I think he's confirmed for 2 more. But yeah, it was.
Oh, okay.
You're roboting, Blake.
Yeah, you were Mr. Roboto there for a little bit, Blake. But I think what you were saying was that you were happy to hear that Chadwick Boseman was in this, in which I very much was too, and it was really interesting and sad and bittersweet to like hear his voice coming through when it was and when he was first introduced and everything. But was definitely really cool to see him in that again. So this episode, the kind of basis of it is instead of Peter Quill being chosen and taken into space, it is T'Challa. I started to say T'Chaka and like tripped over my words. Who was his dad? But yeah, he is taken into space and becomes Star-Lord instead, and it's kind of what that does for that universe and everything. But
Gotcha.
after what I thought was kind of a little bit of an uneven episode last week, I thought this one hit a lot of really good notes for me. So I'll be interested to hear what you guys say going forward.
I will get to them eventually, probably sometime this week, maybe even if I have time. But I've just been swamped these past 2 weeks, so
For sure.
yeah.
Blake, are
what
you
else have you
back?
been watching though, Nathaniel? Why don't you?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. You guys got me.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I will tell you what I've been watching, Adam. That was another excellent segue. I will give you the applause.
Thank you.
Hold on, let me pull up my list here a little bit. Not only did I watch What If episode 3, but I did catch the newest episode of Ted Lasso. Are you guys keeping up with that as well? I know Tyler
like I said,
is not yet.
I've been trying to wait up for the first season. I probably won't. I'll do what you recommended and just catch up because it's so long. But I have to wait for my girlfriend to watch them, so I will get around to those eventually.
Blake, you've been...
Tyler, you trying to say something?
No, I was just saying I have not started that either.
I gotcha.
Blake, any Ted Lasso at all? Have you seen the first season?
I have not.
I think you
I have
should.
not. So, okay, correct me if I'm wrong. This may end up being a pretty stupid question because there's no such thing as a stupid question if you're just trying to collect information. What's the comedy with Keanu Reeves that you guys always mention?
Bill and Ted's
It's like
Excellent
older,
Adventure.
There's like 3 of them, right?
Yes. Yeah, Bill and Ted's.
Okay. That has no relation to what you guys are talking about.
Correct. Yes. No relation whatsoever.
Okay.
Yep.
Ted
That's my
Lasso.
brain always wants to connect those.
Gotcha. Blake, you're also once again more robotic. Again, I'm sorry to say.
What? All right. I got.
It comes in and out.
Yeah,
it's not
it
like
cuts in and out.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times when you start a sentence and then when you end a sentence too. Adam, are we recording still or you marking?
Yeah,
this?
I can. Yeah, we can take a second if you want to.
Clean it up.
Listeners,
a
we'll
little
be. All right, we're back, listeners. Nathaniel, why don't you keep on going with your list here, man?
bit. Yeah. So, great episode of Ted Lasso. Everyone's loving that show. If you're not watching it, you should be.
It's such a fantastic show. We keep recommending it every time it comes up, but it's probably one of the best sitcoms I've watched in the past 5 years.
For sure. What else did I get to? Trying to think if there's anything that I watched just on my own or somewhere else. Not really. I saw Free Guy, the Ryan Reynolds joint.
Hey, what'd you think?
Yeah, I didn't love it.
Okay.
It's like it is, in my opinion, a pretty watered down Deadpool kind of knockoff, and
Hilarious.
I don't mind the storyline, but it feels very sanitized. Like it feels like there was like an R-rated version of this that they shot, and then they like removed a bunch of stuff, and then there's one bit towards the end that goes like crazy product placement and I hated that. And it's really just very much feels like kind of a pastiche or a mix up of a bunch of better movies that are similar to it.
Sure.
There was something else that kind of just was weird to me too. It just didn't really work for me. Pretty meh. But a lot of other people are liking it. So Brandon Waz said he thought it was better than he expected it to be. I did. I was sadly disappointed, but
Okay. Fair.
It happens, man. It happens.
Yeah. I could see the criticism on the Deadpool comparison. I mean, Ryan Reynolds, I feel like he plays that character now in every movie. So it's like a curse in the blessing, you know.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know. It was Sean Levy too, who generally does a pretty decent job, I think. I don't know. It almost felt like a movie that had been messed with a little bit. The final product was not what they thought they were making when they started or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know if maybe studio interference or what, or if they just like kept rewriting it or something, but just didn't really work for me.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah. What else did we get into here? Big one for me was they obviously we've talked in past weeks, they released of the final Evangelion rebuild film.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. I got to Ava 3 this week, which I'm pretty sure I didn't have on last week's episode, which is the first one where things are very different. And then I got to Evangelion Rebuild 4. They are named very funny, so do forgive me a little bit there. But the actual name of the movie is, we'll pull it up here.
I have it right here. It's Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.01 Thrice Upon a Time.
Yes, exactly. So you can understand why I might have tripped over that a little bit. But yeah, man, this was crazy and awesome and spectacular and closure and really weird. Hard to describe. It's hard to describe what it kind of means to me, and I think I'm still kind of still processing all of that. But
when did you watch it? How recently?
I watched it Friday.
Okay, so you've had some time to digest
yes.
it. Yeah,
I have. And that also blends in a little bit to my other thing that I watched this week, which there's actually a documentary that they released concurrently on Amazon Prime about the creator of Evangelion, and also like his.
Awesome.
They're kind of embedded with him as he's working on the fourth and final film. It goes in a bunch of different directions I didn't really expect it to. It ends with a lot clearer finality in terms of what the story means and kind of and what the ideas are. I would say it feels a lot like the creator's just like, here's the answers. This is what it is, and it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination for him doing that. But like, I feel like as a series, the show has such a reputation of being so kind of strange and dense and hard to kind of, you got to really work with the show to kind of understand everything where it's going. And this, it feels very much like he's just kind of like with finality saying, this is it. This is the end of Evangelion, as he's kind of talked about a couple different times. So
Cool.
Definitely, now that all 4 films are done, I think anyone who is curious about it, I would say watch the series first and then watch the end movie and then watch the rebuilds, just because it is kind of like a different experience. If you wanted to just do the rebuilds, you can, but if you wanted the whole thing, it is something that I think is worth taking in as a whole, for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I'll have a little more to speak on that when I get to while we're watching.
Okay.
Bit of sizzle.
What
else you got here?
That was really it. Yeah, the Anno documentary was the big thing, or the other big thing that I had overall. Like I said, kind of a busy week, but
okay. Well, I don't want to jump ahead of anyone else, but I will tack on there since I did watch Evangelion 1.11. You Are Not Alone.
Yeah. So. Did you know, and this is what I find fascinating about Ava too, and you jogged my memory when you brought it up, that they actually, the 1.11s or 2.222s or 3.33s, and all refer to different versions of the movies. So the original one was like Evangelion 1.0. And then when they would change something, or like, and it's always like a translation or like scenes in a different order or something like that, they'll add one of those numbers onto there. So like even like the newest one is 3.0 plus 1.01. So there was an original release that was the 1.00. And now even the version that we're getting is one that has been updated again. So it's these weird kind of things where they kind of
weird.
Constantly go back and change different stuff just so it all works together, and then you actually understand which version of that you're getting to. So all the ones on Amazon are like 1.11, 2.22. So it's all of the most up-to-date versions that we have.
I did not know that. Did they reveal that in the documentary?
No, I don't know where I picked that up at some point. But
okay, I gotcha. Just some kind of acquired knowledge.
Yeah,
yeah, or something. But yes, I did get to the first rebuild. Me and my roommate watched it a couple nights ago, and I love it, bro. It is so good to be back in that universe. It's very interesting how different it is in some ways. You get some things much earlier than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
It moves pretty quickly. They group a lot into one movie.
Yes.
It was like I was just like, oh my god, this is going really fast. We're already on this monster. We're already on this angel. Like this is moving fast. Because the first one is just such a slow drag. And that not to say that's like a bad thing, but it's like there's just so much densely packed.
Right.
And there's a lot to those first 14 episodes that you just kind of almost fly through in this movie. And it's about 2 hours long, maybe a little bit longer than that. But I liked it a lot. And we're definitely going to get to the last 3 at some point in the next couple weeks. But I'm all on board for this one. It's interesting that you said you would recommend, after finishing all of them, you'd recommend going back and watching the series first and then the movie and then the rebuilds. Because I watched this first one, I was like, this might be a little bit more digestible to introduce someone to Evangelion with.
I would say the movies are clearer for sure.
Okay.
But just kind of looking back on it and like there's just more growth that you get with the characters and closeness you get in 26 episodes than you ever can in 4 films, no matter how long the films are, you know. So
that is 100% true.
There are character moments and growth that happens in the series and a lot of emotional moments that, you know, I think I appreciate and can kind of understand going in and hit a little bit harder once you go back with the rebuilds. But yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that the rebuilds are a much more concise statement of kind of what he's saying in those in the series in a lot of ways. But
that's what I was getting from that first one.
Yeah.
Sure. So, because to me, if I was to recommend these to someone, like Papa Schwartz, for example.
Sure.
If he came up to me one day and said, I want to get into Evangelion, he is someone who I don't think would love that first season and the movie.
Oh, nah. It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone, that's for sure. But I do think if he wanted to give it a chance, I think the rebuilds is the better version. I think for the average viewer who doesn't want to go into the batshit crazy land that the first season goes into, I don't know how batshit crazy it goes. Obviously, I've only seen the first one, so I don't know. And it probably, if I had to guess, still goes batshit crazy at the end. But I would say, to me, at least watching this first one, it was much more digestible than it was watching the first 6 or 7 episodes that the first movie kind of combines.
Sure. No, I get that.
So I'll have to reassess that recommendation when I do finish the rest of the rebuilds, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. Loved the first one. I thought the animation was gorgeous. That movie's 14 years old now.
2002? No. 2007. Sorry. They started it in 2000. They started talking about it in 2002.
Gotcha. But it looks incredible. Still holds up from 14 years ago. And I was watching on my OLED with the hue lights too, Nathaniel, with the hue sync going. And it was just awesome, man. We were just right in it. We were having a great time. And I am very, very excited to watch these last 3. And it's just great getting back in that series because I loved it so much.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to hear your journey too, especially like having watched the series in the last year, but like also like you've only been through it once, because I remember I had already watched the series like twice maybe before I ever started the rebuilds too. So a lot of times like watching in between the two of them, I have to be kind of like, all right, so when did this happen, where, and like what stuff, you know, just because the series is so much more ingrained in my memory. There's sometimes, especially watching the later films, where I'm like, oh yeah, that happened only in the series. It didn't happen in this film and everything. So I'll be interested to see where you end up falling overall on everything, though.
Yeah, I was definitely getting that too, where I was like, did this happen here? And I feel like they added a lot more early on symbolism and stuff that will tie in later that they didn't really, at least maybe I couldn't figure out if I just didn't notice it in the beginning of the series or if they added it later. And that's what I'm very curious to see is when I go back, and I will definitely watch that series, the show season at some point. And I'm going to be looking out for these things that I feel like they might have changed, because it's fun trying to pick out spot the difference, basically.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So I will finish these rebuilds. I'm going to give it some time, and then I plan on eventually going through the first season again, the first movie again, and then all 4 rebuilds again, all in one go.
Good luck.
So that's my plan as of now. And then I had a short /long week, short list and long week. So the only other thing I've been getting to is How I Met Your Mother, really. I've been having a good time with that. I'm on season 7 now out of 9, so getting close to the end. I don't absolutely love this show as much for this season. I haven't been liking it so far. They've been doing a weird thing that they've only done in this season, where
so with a flash forward start.
Yeah, it's like the flash
Yeah.
forwards where it's like, oh, we haven't gotten there yet. We'll get to that or all that stuff, and it's just kind of getting annoying because it happened like 4 or 5 episodes in a row, and just like, okay, like I guess we'll just see that later this season, but I don't need that. I was fine with the callbacks. I don't need the flash forwards really. So I'm not sure. I think the last 2 seasons aren't like held in the best regard, from what I remember, and I know a lot of people were upset with how they ended the show, and I know the ending already.
Sure.
But I'll have to kind of see how I feel when I finally finish that out.
I remember liking 9. 9, I think, is the last season.
Next last season.
I remember liking 9 for the most part. I feel like pretty much everyone brought their A game for that. 8, I definitely thought was kind of a little bit like you were starting to get everyone's getting to that point. But it's kind of a well-known sitcom thing that, you know, eventually each character it stops being a character and kind of becomes a caricature, just because with sitcoms you always kind of have to return to some sort of status quo by the end of each episode. You don't get to have as much real growth with the characters as they go. So there's always kind of that Goldilocks zone, and then eventually, you know, sitcoms aren't known for getting better as they go. It's so funny it does that every time. Like it's just a certain.
Yeah, I gotta try to troubleshoot that for you, man. That's a surefire thing every week, it seems like.
But yeah,
So we're back. What were you saying?
Oh, I just said it. You know, sitcoms are not known for getting better as they go.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But anyways, sorry. Continue.
Yeah, no, that was it for my week basically. So I'll go ahead and popcorn Ty.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Ty.
Not crazy list. Lee and I are plowing through Breaking Bad, which has been great. We got, I think, 3 more episodes. So that's been our main thing lately. I don't think I talked about Hunger Games last week.
I think you did mention it. You might have told me off pod.
I think I told you off pod. Because when I was telling you about it today, I was like, I looked at my list again from last week, and I didn't have it on there. So I think I told you off pod. So I think I know we did Catching Fire on Saturday night. So I'm pretty sure we watched the first one somewhere before that. So I think we did 2 throughout the week.
Have you seen all of those?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the 3rd or 4th one. I stopped after Catching Fire.
I was a die-hard Hunger Games fan, but I for some reason never saw the 4th one. Like I literally I saw Catching Fire, like not even kidding, 5 times in theaters.
That's crazy.
In the 7th grade, because I was just that big of a fan. But then I saw the 3-part one like twice in theaters, and just for some reason never saw the 4th one. Still haven't.
Well, I encourage you to do it. It's on Netflix.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yep.
Maybe I'll get around to it. I should
think they're on
watch
Netflix.
that whole
Maybe they're
series.
not on Netflix. Maybe it's
that
Hulu.
series.
I think it's Hulu.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
It's out there.
But it's definitely out there.
Yeah.
Did I talk about White Lotus last week? I can't remember. Now.
No.
Okay, I watched. I'm sorry, I watched all of the White Lotus too, but we can come back to that later.
Lit. And then the only other thing that we kind of had on in the background every now and then is I like cooking stuff. Gordon Ramsay has it's called Gordon Ramsay Uncharted. He basically goes to like different parts of the world and cooks with like really exotic ingredients, stuff like that, and just parts of like their culture, and learns how to cook in like regular meals from their culture and stuff like that. So
Is that
was
new?
pretty cool. Huh?
Is that new?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't really know. It's part of the Disney stuff because it's on National
Gotcha.
Geographic. So I don't know how many seasons there are or anything like that. I just saw it and I was like, this seems like fun. I like Gordon Ramsay. I like when people go like way out of their comfort zone and cook random stuff, especially when they're like super famous like that. So, but yeah, other than that, I don't really have anything else. I think that's it.
Like finish us out here.
Cool, man. I'll try to keep it brief in case I go super roboto. I got to 3 things. I end up rewatching the remake of The Crazies. So I watched the 2010.
Yes. Did you watch the Hollinger video on that? Is that what made you go back and watch it?
Yeah, I didn't. I've seen the Hollander video, but
Okay.
it popped up in my YouTube feed, and
Okay.
that's what made me like, hey, I want to rewatch that movie.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, dude, that's good. One of the kind of the better remakes, as I kind of insist, up there with like The Evil Dead, Halloween 2018, where I think it's just done right. The atmosphere is good.
For sure.
I haven't seen the original though, so that's something I need to put on a list. Have you seen the original, Nathaniel?
I have not, no. I need to check that one out too.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of tough to find, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'd have to ask my dad if he's seen that, but
Right.
I don't even think I've seen it even like listed anywhere, opposed to like we've seen like the original Halloween or the original.
Sure, yeah. Or even the first Night of the Living Dead, Romero's other big one.
So, but yeah, that was cool. Another one I got to Alien Covenant.
Oh, okay, that's
Nice.
the most recent one, right?
Yeah, that's the latest one from 2017. And that's probably the second time I've watched it, maybe third. Definitely the first time in a while. I like it though. It kind of got a lot of flack when it first came out,
For
Yeah,
sure.
it did.
but I'm kind of big on alien mythology and xenomorph mythology, and just kind of see how they're going through that stuff, and that's an interesting movie. If you ever dug into those, obviously Adam hasn't seen any
I
of
was
them.
going to say, yeah, no
but
spoilers
you
for
kinda
Adam.
You kind of see just how things go. So
I liked
Yeah,
a
man.
lot of Alien Covenant. There was like just 2 or 3 things that I really hated.
okay, have you seen Prometheus? I'm sure you
Yes,
have.
yeah.
Have you seen Prometheus, Ty?
Oh yeah.
Okay. How do you guys feel about both of those? Because they're kind of, you know what I mean? Like they go 1 and 2 with each other.
I loved Prometheus, and then it just had a special soft spot for me. And then the bits of Alien Covenant that I hated, like directly felt like they made Prometheus worse. So that's why I also
think I
kind of
know what scenes you're
hated
talking
Alien
about.
Covenant a little bit.
Mm.
But
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that statement, which we've talked about. I don't know if it's been on before. I'm pretty sure it has, but we've definitely talked about our sore spots with both those movies. But overall, if somebody's like, "Hey, I haven't seen Covenant," I'm like, "Yo, I'm in." Same thing with
Yeah.
Prometheus.
For sure.
So yeah, I sat down and watched. Didn't watch Prometheus, but my dad was like, "Hey, I want to watch the newest Alien. I haven't seen that in a while." So I sat down and watched that with him. Might have been Sunday evening, I want to say.
love your dad's taste in movies.
Yeah. So yeah, that was cool. And then another one I got to was The Wrong Turn from 2021, which I don't think any of you guys would want to watch. That maybe Nathaniel.
I mean, that was one that I saw and went, all right, yeah, I'm old enough. I can skip that and just not feel bad.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it's a Wrong Turn movie, dude. We kind of know how those are. The first one's genuinely not bad. For anyone who isn't aware of kind of the Wrong Turns, it's started in the early 2000s, kind of like a hack and slash.
Backwoods
Inbred.
cannibals.
Yeah, Hills Have Eyes type thing. First one's pretty good. They end up making like what, 6 of them? Nathaniel,
Too many.
5 of them. I don't know. They all went downhill. But I watched the newest one, the 2021 one, and it's
I think, yeah,
it's okay. It's a new spin on it, certainly.
I think like the WWE WWE had ended up buying the franchise, and then so like they like produce it now or something.
Right. I have no idea. I didn't even do that much research. It just came across, and I was looking for like new horror movies for 2021. It came across. So yeah, it's okay. Nothing crazy.
Ryan Hollinger has a video on that too.
On the new one?
On Wrong
the
Turn, and
OGs?
he goes over the
Okay.
new one in it a little bit. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I might have to see if I can catch that. I don't know if I've seen his on theirs, but yeah, listeners, first one's good, second one's like, then you can skip the rest. They're like comically bad.
And this
But
last
one's kind of
one,
yeah, it's got a new take on it. It's a little bit different, but not the worst. I would say that. Certainly not the worst. And yeah, that's all I got to. What I wanted to ask Nathaniel was, did you end up finishing Atlanta? I know you kind of stopped talking about that maybe like two episodes ago.
no,
Did you fall off of it?
so I haven't finished it yet. It's definitely one I want to go back to. But it
Okay.
is one that I feel like I have to be in the right mood for. Like it's
Yeah,
not one I
definitely.
like wake up and like, oh, I'm just gonna pop on an episode of Atlanta real quick or something.
Right.
It's definitely one I want to kind of like. And I also feel like you can kind of take your time with that show too. It's not one of those ones that like makes you like have to go back in immediately. But yeah, no, I've really been enjoying it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just wanted to follow up on that. But yeah, that's all I got to you guys.
Think the last episode I saw was the one with the Migos. The Migos show up as drug dealers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so you're in the first season still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's really funny.
Did you get? Oh man, I don't want to. Did you get to the episode where he goes to that gentleman's house?
No, I don't think so yet.
To pick up a piano.
No, I haven't got to that one.
Oh man. Okay, you know when you get there. Let me know when you get there, man. We'll have a talk.
I will do.
Cool. So yeah, that's all I got to. Then obviously I went to the theaters Saturday to watch the main segment,
which is Reminiscence. Welcome, listeners, to the main review segment here at Back Row Banter. Nathaniel, give the listeners a rundown here on how our review segment works.
Well, welcome, listeners. How the review segment works here at Back Row Banter, it is broken down into two sections. One's going to be the spoiler section, one's going to be the non-spoiler section. They're reversed, though, actually. Non-spoiler comes first, obviously. In the non-spoiler section, we're going to talk about, the IMDb plot summary, little details about who directed it, some of the cast, anything like that. And then we're going to go around and give our first initial opinions and whether or not we would recommend this movie. It has to be a yes or no answer. There is no nuance on the internet. Would you recommend it? From then on, it's going to be spoilers. There'll be a nice little spoiler sound. It'll sound like this. And you'll know you've entered spoiler time. But if you do not want to have anything spoiled for you, don't worry. That's why I play the sound. Come back later. We are going to welcome you all back and finish out the show for you. But in spoiler time, we will talk, obviously, about any spoilers that we can get into and then give a little bit deeper thoughts on the movie, anything that really stuck out to us or anything like that. And do come back at the end of spoiler time, though, because we're going to see where it ranks on our Entropy list, which is our big list of everything that we've watched on the podcast, ranked. Adam, talk to me about Reminiscence.
I would love to. This is Reminiscence 2021. This is a new flick, ladies and gentlemen, straight to theaters and HBO Max. PG-13 with an hour and 56-minute runtime, which is a good sweet spot for it.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's a good length.
Yes, it's a perfect length for this kind of movie. Written and directed by Lisa Joy, and I was just checking out her IMDb. She's best known for, it looks like, her writing and directing credit on Westworld. She wrote quite a few episodes in the first season, it looks like.
Yeah, she's the co-creator.
Yeah, okay, she's a co-creator. That would make sense. And then she directed one of the episodes as well. So those are her main credits. She's also attached to Burn Noticed and Pushing Daisies, those two TV shows. So I guess this is, looking at it, kind of her first movie.
Yeah, she's married to Jonathan Nolan, brother of Christopher Nolan. So she and Jonathan write Westworld together. That's their show. And then she obviously produces a bunch of different stuff as well too, and is part of that creative process. So good camp to be out of, I guess, if you want to think of it in sports teams or anything like that.
Yeah. The cast is starring, the leads are going to be Hugh Jackman and Rebecca Ferguson. Hugh Jackman, I don't think we really need to elaborate there, but Rebecca Ferguson you've probably seen in like Mission Impossible. She's been in a lot of other stuff. I can't really think of more stuff off the top of my head. Dr. Sleep, yeah, that's a good one. But she's pretty well known as well. She's popped off in the past few years. And then Thandiwe Newton, is that how I pronounce that, Nathaniel?
I believe it's Thandiwe.
Thandiwe Newton, who is from Westworld. And then another Westworld star was Angela Serafian.
Yep.
She played one of the robots in Westworld. But then we're also getting Cliff Curtis was the other one I recognized.
Also from Dr. Sleep.
Also from Dr. Sleep, exactly. Who I think we talked about was kind of underrated. He's
a great actor. Yeah, he's awesome.
So we've seen him before here on Pod. But not a lot of other notable actors from what I can tell here, Nathaniel. I don't know if I'm glazing over someone.
Brett Cullen, pretty well-known character actor. Oh, okay. Natalie Martinez, I've seen in a couple different things. Marina Di Teveria, she starred in Roma, Alfonso Cuarón's movie from Netflix, which she's pretty sure she was nominated for an Oscar or a Golden Globe for that, actually, I think. But she's really great, too.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
So decent cast, honestly. Hugh Jackman as the lead, but then some good supporting acting as well. But the
Yeah, not
IMDb
bad.
summary reads as follows. Nick Bannister, a private investigator of the mind, navigates the alluring world of the past when his life is changed by new client May. A simple case becomes an obsession after she disappears, and he fights to learn the truth about her. I don't like that a lot. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great.
Tough movie
So-
to give a summary to. In all
Agreed.
reality.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough one. But let me fill in the blanks here for you listeners. This is essentially it's near future. They don't give an exact year. Probably somewhere 30 to 40 years in the future. Planet's completely different. Cities are underwater. Not a lot of land left. There's been some wars fought, and
They keep
as they
referencing
kind of
a war.
they go back to the war a lot. But basically, this is post-war, how everything's settled out, and how people are trying to live in a post-climate change world that's kind of ravaged the planet a little bit. But since no one has nothing to look forward to in the future, everyone looks towards the past in the form of memories and a new machine that allows you to relive those memories, basically. And this is kind of a neo-noir detective thriller that kind of jumps back and forth from present, and then also the memories of several characters in the movie. That's kind of how he's piecing together the mystery that he's trying to solve, which is he's looking for his love who has disappeared. Is essentially the gist. Anything else you guys want to add on there?
No, I think you pretty much nailed that guy.
You did nail it. I just want to take a quick break here and I got a notification that the new Spider-Man No Way Home trailer has officially dropped.
Okay.
So
Should we
can
take
a break right now.
Should we take a quick
can take a-
pause for station identification?
Yeah, we'll take a break, and we'll probably talk about that after our review here.
cool. I just want to let you guys know.
That's a good no. Thank
So
you.
let's all watch it real quick.
What's up, listeners? Welcome back. Even though it wasn't really a break for you, we just watched the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, which you guys, I'm, assuming heard earlier on in the episode.
This was breaking news. It was hot and fresh.
Yeah, you guys heard it before we did, apparently. If you cut up the timelines differently.
Time is a funny thing.
I heard it was a
Time is a
flat
funny
circle.
But we'll talk about that later / before for you guys. But let's just talk about Reminiscence. That's what we're here to talk about. I watched this on HBO Max.
I was
did
gonna
not get out
ask.
to the theaters, and I'll be
Okay.
honest, I'm kind of glad I didn't. I didn't really want to spend money on this movie, and I'm glad I did not. I liked this movie, didn't love it. I thought they were trying to do a lot of cool things, but none of it. It just felt like mediocre execution for a lot of things, from kind of the writing, how they introduce characters, even the action just didn't do it for me. There's just a lot of things where I was just like, none of this was that entertaining for me, where there was a lot of things that could have been. So the highlight of me is probably kind of just the setting. I thought this was very cool, kind of setting an idea of this neo-noir future. Giving me some Blade Runner vibes for sure, and I feel like that maybe some kind of something that they were going for. But it's different enough for Blade Runner where I wasn't like, this is a ripoff or anything, which I appreciated because I think that's a cool setting to do. But I just don't think they did enough for me in this world to say that they pulled it off well. So that's kind of where I'm at here. Nathaniel, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought. I mean, it's a decent movie. It's kind of where I landed with it. I didn't love it. I liked it for the most part. There's one or two things that I thought were pretty counterintuitive, I would say. One of which being the fact that this is a neo-noir, or it's a noir. This movie is noir. The only thing that's neo about it is the fact that it's set in the future a little bit.
Yep.
But it goes so far as to have people in like the fedora hats. It's set in Miami, so it's already got that kind of vibe to it. It's the classic noir story of a lady walks into a private investigator's office and completely screws up his perfectly legitimate business, and then the fallout from that. And it's it's wanting to be Chinatown and Maltese Falcon and all of these great things, and then it sets all of that in the daytime, and it's like one of the calling card hallmarks, number one rules of noir in general is that everything is in these high key lighting with these very contrast driven moments of setting, basically. You know, the classic kind of thing is the man under the street light with the pure black everything else, you know. Right. And you take Miami, which has this great, you know, neon glow look to it, and then you lose all of that by setting it in this weird washed out daytime version of Miami, when this movie could have looked incredible.
It really could have.
And it just like, and I understand from that they wrote it into the story, but even now trying to remember back to it, I can't remember exactly why they wanted it to run that way, or like why they decided to start being nocturnal for whatever reason.
It's too hot. Yeah,
it was too hot.
Overall, I think everything is happening because of global warming has taken a pretty big effect, and so things are starting to go underwater and things are starting to get hotter, and essentially because it's so hot during the day, they decided that they sleep during the day and then just continue on with life at night.
Yeah.
Right.
Which doesn't make they don't really fit in well with that, because they're like, oh, it's too hot to be out during the day. Most people don't do it, and then they just cut to like
everyone's awake during the day.
Coat. Yeah, well, a lot of people are awake during the day apparently, but then Hugh Jackman's in a trench coat and like long slacks, just treading through water in what I'm assuming is like 120-degree heat. So I don't know, but you know, there was just a couple things where the movie seemed at odds with itself. I wish it had leaned into the noir even harder. I wish it would have just become that and rolled with that. This is a classic example of a movie that, like, it does the weird thing where it's like it sets up its own story by referencing an older piece of literature. So in this line, there's a moment where after May, who's the Rebecca Ferguson character, and Hugh Jackman have had kind of their first series of dates or anything, she says, "Tell me a happy story." And they have kind of a conversation about it. Then he says, "Well, have you heard of Orpheus and Eurydice? However they pronounce it. Eurydice.
Yeah. And if you know Orpheus and Eurydice from your history or your mythology classes, you know how that story ends, and that just gives away the rest of the story in the film. And it's just, I understand everything about this movie, and there's parts of it that I like, and I like what this movie is going for. There should be more adult-centered entertainment like this, where it is this genre of action and mystery and a thing. I want more people to do things like this, but this is just it just isn't quite there for me.
I definitely agree.
Sorry, I've talked a lot now. Someone else.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Ty?
Obviously the neon kind of effect and everything is there. I think everybody kind of got that, and how it's supposed to be really more or less in the future. And I think the thing that really came to mind, though, when this kind of first started out, for me at least, was how The Great Gatsby was done. You get kind of like that background narration. It's your main character. And they're kind of explaining everything throughout the whole process while still interlaying or interweaving their character throughout the movie. So I thought that was pretty great. Obviously, Hugh Jackman's got a really great voice for it. I think he does a really great job. I think some of his stuff is a little lackluster in this. I don't think he was... I mean, we've all seen Hugh Jackman emotional.
Yeah, I don't know. I almost feel like I didn't actually love his pick for, or his choice in the role for his voice. Like even in the voiceover, I felt like it didn't quite nail it for me, actually. But I do think he brings a lot of everything that he can to the role. It just didn't always work for me in some ways. But it's interesting that you felt the opposite.
Yeah, I just I always find his voice very calming in ways, and I can definitely see that happening when you're trying to essentially fall asleep or listen to his voice while you're under sedation or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, it's okay, it's all right. It's nothing crazy. There definitely could have been some other things done with it to get it to a much higher point or a higher level, but Yeah, I don't know. Blake?
I don't really like this movie, guys.
I figured as much.
Not a sci-fi guy, as we said earlier.
It does, yeah, that's true. But I mean, I like some sci-fi stuff. I mean, it has some good things going for it, right? We've already kind of went on. I think the setting is nice, right? I don't think they went about it the correct way. The casting's good as well, but I think the story it's just too messy to me, and we'll kind of get into it when it gets to spoilers. But I don't know. I just don't like a lot of the decision making and just like the writing and the decisions characters make and like the different arcs they go through. Was it
enough that it pulled you out of the movie basically at that point?
No. I don't think it's anything that bad. Where I was still tuned in, but I mean I don't know. As Nathaniel said, I mean, you're kind of like loop-de-loop and corkscrew theory.
Sure.
You know, we're like, I feel like this movie is it's just everywhere, in my opinion. And there's a lot of things that didn't really make sense. When they're in some people's dreams, they're able to kind of see certain things in peripheral. They're in other people's dreams. It's only first person, and they can't get any other angles out of it. So I just kind of picked up on stuff like that. Some of it's actually like really comedic, and I don't think it's supposed to be.
I agree. There were some lines where I was like, "That's not how I would deliver that."
Yeah. So I don't know. I saw it with one of my buddies, and he's pretty big into film as well. What's up, bro?
Did you go to theaters?
Yeah, I went to AMC.
Okay.
Shout out A-list. But yeah, I went with two of my buddies, and there one of them, was kind of into film. I would say probably about the level we are. I would say, you know, he kind of watched a lot of stuff, listens to the pod a lot. But yeah, I don't think he was too big of a fan of it either. And I don't know.
It's a movie that sets up a mystery, and then like 3/4 of the way
through.
So
interesting.
Yeah, and like 3/4 of the way through, though, it just kind of stops caring about the mystery, you know, and like resolving it.
Mm-hmm. It changes. It completely changes what that mystery is about.
Yeah, and I think it was so much. I think it would have been better if it was more centered around these two characters and their relationship, and him
the
trying
original,
to
like
find
the
their
disappearance
past.
and everything.
Yes,
yeah.
And then it went down a long rabbit hole. So
for sure,
that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, well, it's time for us to give our recommendations here, which I've been thinking since I finished watching this movie. I can't really decide if I would recommend it or not. I'm leaning towards no, and I think I'm gonna settle on no, just because I think there's so many better things to watch than this. Like if someone's asking me if I would recommend watching this, I mean, no, not necessarily. But if like you're interested and you see the trailer and you think you might like it, you'll get some enjoyment out of it. But it's not enough for me to go around and be like, oh, you got to go watch this movie, or if you ask me for a recommendation, this is not going to be it. So I would say overall, I'm a no. I don't know about you guys though.
You know, it really
I'll
reminds.
follow up.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Blake, you go ahead.
I'll follow up. I wouldn't recommend it. This movie kind of ended, and me and my friends looked at each other and was like, nah, this is not good. So I think that kind of says enough, and that's not too common. But yeah, no, I think the saving grace, Hugh Jackman's good. And everyone likes Hugh Jackman. I love Rebecca Ferguson. Dr. Sleep, she's in Life as well. Life. Shout out Jake Gyllenhaal as well. He's in that. But yeah, that's really the only kind of takeaway I had from this. Everything else was lackluster, so I wouldn't recommend.
It reminds me, do you guys remember that movie Transcendence that came out a few years ago with Johnny Depp, where he like uploads his brain into a computer?
Yes, but I never watched it.
The name sounds familiar, but I also never watched it.
This movie reminds me a lot of like that movie in terms of how it feels in the zeitgeist like right now, like what its level of popularity is. In that, by that I mean 5 years from now, there'll be some guy on some podcast that'll be like, remember Reminiscence with Hugh Jackman? And two people will say, yeah, I know about it, but I never saw it. And another person will say, yeah, no, I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, this will definitely fade pretty quickly, I would say.
That being said, I say, give it if you think you'll like it, you give it a shot, you know. So I recommend it. I feel like
You would recommend it.
I feel
Okay.
like this is going to be one where it's going to get a lot of recommends, and I may just be putting it out there to be a little contrarian with this one, but there's enough weird choices in this movie that I think you might find it fun, you know, if you got an hour to kill or 2 hours to kill on a Saturday or something. I don't think I'd make an evening around it, but if you woke up with the Sunday scaries and you just wanted to throw something on and just kind of hang out to and not think too hard, you feel like a little mystery or noir could get you through. That's where I'm at with this guy.
Ty?
It's gonna be a no for me, dog.
Yeah. Little what was his name on American Idol? Was it Randy Johnson? Randy Jackson?
You're not gonna not get Randy Jackson's autograph.
I would.
That's a Step Brothers reference.
Not one I remembered. Oh my God! Yeah, he signs the samurai
Yeah,
sword.
he signs the sword.
Yeah. Haven't seen that movie recently enough, or enough in
It's the
general.
only thing I had on
seen
me.
it. All right. Well, I think that's gonna be it for the non-spoiler segment here. So we're gonna go ahead and get into spoiler talks. If
So-
you've not seen Reminiscence, go ahead and check the episode description where I have marked a timestamp you can jump to, where you'll skip over the spoilers and be brought to our ranking up upon the entropy list. Spoilers. Shit goes down.
Shit goes down
Chico's memories.
and around.
I remember.
and
I remember
around,
shit going
and
down.
around and around.
So I want to. We were kind of negative in the non-spoilers here, so let's start off with the positives. I love
Standouts.
this setting. What'd you say?
I said
I agree,
standouts.
for sure.
Yeah, the standouts. I love this setting.
I
They
agree.
do
Adam.
enough of the world building for me where I kind of buy into it. It's a little direct for me, where it's just like, oh, this is how the world is now, and this is why. And I wish it would have been a little bit more subtle, but I understand like that's the noir theme where they kind of get the narrator to do it. I just wish it wasn't just the narrator directly telling me this and that and why. But
Sure.
you know, it still worked for me. I still bought in. I thought the dream.
It looks good too.
Yeah, it does look good. I think they did a good job. I never really had a problem with any of the CGI. You're shaking your head, Nathaniel.
I didn't like how it looked. I didn't like how it
Really?
looked at all. No, I just it could have been so much better, I guess is my thing with that.
I could agree with that. I think it could have been better, but I still liked how it looked. I think you're right where they should have leaned more into. I mean, the fact that they are nocturnal now, but then like half of this movie takes place during the day is such a missed opportunity. If you're having a noir and your universe is set where like everyone lives during the night now, and 90% of the movie doesn't take place during nighttime, and you're not using that to the fullest of its capabilities and adding a ton of neon and adding as much as you can to accentuate that, that's a huge missed opportunity. So I definitely agree with you there. That being said, I think visually, I still liked how the movie looked, and I think that this, you know, the CGI was pretty good. I never had an issue anywhere with it. It fit the kind of narrative that they were building around it, where it was just this kind of almost post-apocalyptic world as they kind of built it out to be. I like the idea of like these landlocked, these like certain dry areas they'd have in isolation to, you know, the drowned out cities. So they did enough for me where I still liked it, but I definitely do agree with you, Nathaniel, where it could have been much better, and they definitely missed out on that end.
Yeah, I didn't like the actual look of the film at the end of the day. Like the tone, the gradient that they use, everything about the film. I just
Okay,
didn't
I
end up
see.
loving the aesthetic, I guess, of the film itself. I loved the setting. I loved the production design. Loved the costumes. Loved the character designs and everything with that. But the actual texture of the film itself, I didn't love.
Okay, that clarifies a little bit more, because I still agree with you on that. I feel like now that you clarified, I feel like we're kind of on the same page.
Yeah.
So that's definitely cool. What were some highlights for you guys?
Hugh Jackman's
Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman good. I think Rebecca Ferguson's really good. I actually really like the weird Bayou Chinese guy.
Yeah, I did too. honestly.
Because he's got this insane Cajun accent that he'll just drop weird. I believe they're
odd
Mandarin phrases or something like that throughout. I know Tyler was joking about it earlier today. He wasn't a huge fan of the character, couldn't really understand him, but I really liked that
Subtitles
guy,
on, man.
St. John.
Yeah.
I thought I thought like the production design was all really, really interesting. I really loved those kind of scenes of them walking along what it looks like what used to be an old highway, and as they kind of edge around the city a little bit. Yeah, all the actors I think in kind of the main roles are doing a pretty good job, or doing everything that they're wanting them to do, and giving their all. I think
They're
at the
not
end
given a lot to work with, though.
I genuinely think at the end of the day, this film comes down to having a first-time director, or having a director that doesn't have a lot of experience in there. There's a lot of kind of not missed shots, but there's some funky kind of pacing in a lot of areas to different scenes. There's certain choices, like we've kind of already talked about, with the decision to have this noir genre film and then set it during the daytime. So there's a couple stuff in there where it just doesn't quite meet a singular vision, it feels like. But as I said, I'm going to stop talking for a little bit, and you guys
you're fine,
can
man.
talk
You're
for
fine.
more.
No, it's all good.
Ty was your highlight. Ty?
Maybe on mute, or he may have ran to do something.
We may have lost.
We have lost Tyler Vidalis, folks.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy Rebecca Ferguson. Though I think she did well. Looks like she kind of had put on like some of an accent for this, or maybe that's just how she naturally speaks.
She's
I couldn't
British
tell you.
normally, isn't she?
Right? Yeah. Just
And
compared
her
to
British
what else
accent
I've
came
seen
out
her in.
once or twice. I definitely noticed that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. Like I said, I just wish that they would have taken the story of trying to figure out the mystery of where she vanished, or where she vanished to, if that's how you correctly enunciate that. But I think that would have been so much more of an interesting story of kind of like, hey, where did this woman who may have found loved in, where did she go? She wouldn't just disappear like that. But instead of doing all that, they literally turned that into like her being like a shitty person and stealing drugs from a drug lord. And like, I was like, dude, like, I don't know, man. I don't want to see that out of this movie. And I think that's just where it kind of lost me.
Yeah.
But the original mystery, like I was bought in on this movie despite all its flaws, right up to the original mystery, right, where it starts. You kind of see like, okay, there's kind of some of this dream sequence. You can go in this machine, you can relive memories. People go there for nostalgia purposes, things of that nature. He comes in, he meets a woman, right, that's a love interest, and then she disappears. I'm like, okay, cool. Like he's gonna end up going through memories or through other people's memories to figure out where she is, and they just like shit it on my face after that, and it wasn't cool. It wasn't cool.
Halfway through the second act, this movie just kind of feels like it just doesn't follow the original vision of the first act, and I wonder if there's maybe some kind of change made to it. But
it's gotta be, man.
I don't know. It just takes a turn that I wish it didn't take.
Yeah.
And I was so more intrigued by the original disappearance storyline than, did he really love her, or did you really know her, like that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And they do that, and then like and she kind of plays the role where okay, like she's a bad person, she was a drug addict, she was stealing from a drug lord, right? And then it comes full circle. It's like, well, actually, no, she's a good person, right? She makes good moral decisions, and there's kind of that. Then they had the play, with like the son of kind of the distraught
Baron.
wife.
Yeah.
Then I'm just like,
I didn't like
there's
that
too much shit going
storyline at
on.
all.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not interested in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot that they added there. Just as far as like from an emotional standpoint, from where you're supposed to get from like point A to point B, and some of it doesn't make a lot of sense, especially when you get to like he has to remember. I think her name was Elsa. He's got to remember like her memories, and then
I kind of like
her
that.
memories from him, her memories, and like I get everything, and like, and then you go into like her kid, and then how he kind of plays into it. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going on there. I feel like some of that stuff either could have been left out or maybe simplified more to still make it a good kind of mystery that they were trying to go for.
Well, it's
that you kind of got to solve, but
it's like it kind of hits up against those noir stereotypes, right? Or that kind of
Yeah,
cliches.
like,
It always leads, the mystery always leads higher up the ladder, right? You know, it is always someone involved in local government that ends up murdering the main, you know, character or something like that. And so I think it kind of falls into some of those things, and that's where like feel like if it leaned into those even more, you'd have a better understanding of what to expect, and you wouldn't kind of feel like what Blake's talking about, where it almost feels like there's two different movies going on there, you know. And it's just kind of a bummer in some parts, I think.
Yeah. It's as we kind of keep harping on it is unfortunate though, because it did have a lot of things going for it at first.
Had so much potential.
And like that's why it's kind of like, oh well, this sucks. You know, it's different if you go in there with like low expectations. It's not really a cast you expect. The first act's not interesting. Then it's kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever. I wasn't really sold in, but it starts off like fairly interesting, where you're like, okay, like I want to see where this goes, and you're interested in the characters. You're interested in May. And kind of like, okay, what's her story? Where did she disappear to? Is she kidnapped? Did she run away? And like I said, they throw all that down the drain. It's unfortunate.
What does the baka do? Like besides like it just is a drug. Do we know like they don't really talk about like if it slows down? Yeah. Or...
He mentions it's good for the nerves, and then she loses like all emotion. So I kind of interpreted it as maybe it's just like it kind of turns off the limbic system. Maybe you have reduced emotion and reduced sensation.
Sure.
And so you can't feel as much, and maybe it just numbs you out. That's kind of the idea I got, but they never really specify what it does.
Right. Yeah. I wasn't entirely sure. I don't know. Just from kind of, as Adam's saying, when they kind of break it down to May, he's like, oh, well, like, well, this is kind of like the side effects of that, and or like you would betray anybody. I think to me it kind of sound a lot like Xanax or something of that nature. It's kind of like how it would be, but I don't know. I guess a bigger question is I don't know why they just wouldn't use a real drug and not term.
Yeah,
it's heroin.
It's already a rated R movie. Like you know what I mean? That makes sense. I don't know. That could have been anything. It could have been cocaine. It could have been whatever.
Sounds cool, dude.
That's all it was. That's literally all it was. We just need something to sound cool.
What did you guys think of the ending?
I was like, okay, I guess. I wasn't mad about it, but I was like, that's just... He just grows old in that tank.
Did it feel like it went super dark? Like, I feel like this movie like kicked into another gear as soon as he's like, no, Cliff Curtis, I'm just going to trap you in the moment where your skin is on fire for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
He rolls by on the fucking stretcher and he's still like wailing in pain.
I was like, Jesus Christ. And then he walks up to the Tandui Newton character and is like, I burned this guy. You're going to want to hear about it. And then they're like, all right, well, we're just going to do the same thing to you, but it's going to be a happy memory. So good luck. And I was like, no, it's still bad. That sounds awful.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't love that. And like, I get that it closes the loop. And so then it's like, oh, well, the whole movie could have just been another one of his loops. And this is his thing. But I don't know, man. That felt... I mean, you want to talk about like going to movies as an escape or something like that, and this is literally like, no, we're trapping you here forever.
Yeah. Oh man. Anything else you guys
fumbled the bag, man?
Yeah, they fumbled it pretty hard.
As the young kids would say.
I thought I didn't love the directing, but there were some good parts to it where I kind of noticed that they were editing it a little bit differently when you were in the dreams versus when you were outside of the memories. When you're outside the memories, they make it a little bit more choppier and a little bit more jumpy when you're in the memories compared to when you're outside of them, which I thought was a nice touch to it. They had more than one thing like that, whereas like you could kind of differentiate different kind of areas of the movie like that. So. But the action, like I said before, I thought the action was pretty bad.
I thought they did a really good job of differentiating when you were in a dream and when you weren't. So you were never, or not even a dream. So we're all doing that. Yeah, memories. Right. Yeah. I didn't quite get how the machine worked because originally I thought that it was all projections, and then he's kind of like walking through it later with the beads. Yeah,
that's my exact question, dude.
Yeah,
and I not to cut you off, Nathaniel. I turned to my buddy at the same time, and I'm like, okay, like how does this thing work? Because in some people it's like first person, like he's actually standing there, like and then like that's how it was for the guy who was like in like the drug game, like the criminal guy who was like slowly dying.
The dude they were interrogating, it to me, they mentioned how you should have invested in a better rig. I think they just couldn't do their projections with the equipment they had.
He mentioned earlier when he was talking to May too, when they first were talking about a kiss or something like that. He was saying, well, if you start to remember it, you get to a point where you remember it so vividly that you picture yourself in the scene too. And that's how he gets the third person perspective. But yeah, there was a couple lines like that were like kind of blink and you miss it too. Because there's one later on too where he's like, Maze is revealed to be much more innocent than we've ever been kind of led to believe. He says like, oh yeah, you were talking to someone else, but it wasn't May. It was actually the Cliff Curtis character or something like that. And then so it's kind of like the May that we've seen multiple times at this point doing something kind of nefarious or anything like that didn't really exist too, and that makes it all a little bit, I think, more confusing too, and kind of a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of poor on, I think, just drawing attention to those details that you need to actually get the full plot forward.
Sure.
Yeah, it's interesting, like I said, and maybe some of that stuff just kind of went over my head. But yeah, I was like, I don't know, that was hard to follow.
I was watching with captions
I know you guys
too, which probably helps.
Okay. Yeah. I know you guys were kind of harping on some of the action as well, and like the scene where he goes to New Orleans to talk to St. John.
When
kind of the drug lord. Yeah, it's cool. He had some good lines, but then and pardon me, I always forget actors names. But his colleague who comes to save him,
Watts.
Like when she comes in, it was like fucking comical, bro. Like she fucking shotguns open the door, dude. Fucking
it suddenly turns
like 12 feet.
Very Tarantino-y.
Yeah. And Hugh Jackman's like under the water in the tank, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And it's like in slow motion. I'm like, "This is so much different than everything we've seen the past 45 minutes."
I know nothing.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was definitely some mixed feelings there. You get like the slow-mo with the bullet going through the tank and everything like that, and you get those eels. I wish you kind of really got to see the full action. I wish maybe they would have stuck like someone else's arm in there or like maybe like do a reversal move, right. Put that guy's face in there, and then the guy was holding in there, and that's how he dies. But yeah, it is kind of funny how they always play her out to be like this crack shot, and then she's like, "Yeah, but I have to be drunk." And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, that felt very Serenity-y.
Yeah.
Did you guys, or Firefly? Did you guys ever watch that?
I did.
I have not.
Serenity is the name of the ship, I believe.
I haven't.
Serenity is the movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. Firefly is the name of the ship.
Yeah, Serenity is the battle or whatever. Yeah, Firefly is the name of the ship. Great show.
Good show.
All right. Do you guys have anything you want to say before we head out of review here?
Yeah, it's just one of those movies, isn't it?
It is.
It's just a movie.
It's a movie.
But like, I genuinely want to see more of this kind of stuff. You know,
I agree. I hope this doesn't. I hope the reception of this doesn't discourage more studios from approving things like this, because this can be done well. It just wasn't this time, unfortunately. And I don't even think. I mean, this was Lisa Joy's, like we said, first attempt at a movie, both directing and writing it. So maybe she learned some things. Maybe she takes another crack at it, because I mean, she's obviously proved herself with Westworld. So. I'll hold out some faith. I'll give her another shot.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. I think that's going to be it for spoiler talk here. So welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoilers. We're going to go ahead and rank Reminiscence. Hup upon the Entropy list. For those of you who do not know, the Entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. If you'd like to reference this is essentially how we rate movies. Rather than do out of 5 stars, out of 10, we're going to compare all the movies that we review and see how they compare to one another. If you'd like to reference the Entropy list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description, where it is linked to my Letterboxd. I started trying to update the Entropy list mid spiel right there, and it did not work out.
Oh man, you fell into one of the classic blunders.
I did. It was not a good run. I honestly do it pretty often, and I can do it pretty well. That time was just not a success. That time I just lost where I was at. So, but we made it. We made it regardless to number 66 upon the Entropy list. 66.
Where did I just
This
see
is hard to
something?
compare to. I don't know if we have another
50,
one.
54.
Who wants to let it rip?
54.
That's what I was. I'm close to that area, Ty. I like it.
54, below
like
the
it.
Tomorrow War, above Bo Rat, subsequent movie film. Okay.
I've got it 52,
Yep.
52.
That's exactly what I'm at. 52.
which is
So-
one above F9, one below Wonder Woman 2017.
Yeah. I
Okay,
think there's a nice sized gap between those two. And I think this fits right in there.
All right. So
I'm definitely not
Nathaniel-
putting it any higher. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
No, definitely. And because Trick or Treat's a slot above that, there's no way this thing's going above
Yeah.
Trick or Treat.
Not a chance in hell.
Over my dead body.
All right. So Nathaniel and Blake, 52.
Yes,
Ty,
sir.
you're 54. I'm gonna probably slot in at 55, below Bo Rat, subsequent movie film, and
Oh,
above
man.
Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Okay.
Just because I'm looking at the movies above Bo Rat. I liked Bo Rat a lot, and I liked those movies above Bo
Yeah.
Rat.
You
Pretty,
did like Bo
pretty
Rat,
much.
yeah.
So, and even Tomorrow War. I mean, I had a better time with Tomorrow War than I did.
Yeah,
with-
it had its
Tomorrow was
flaws, but
so
it's still good.
long, though.
Exactly.
Like,
That's fine. It's fine. That doesn't bother me as much as it bothered you guys for that one. But
The
yeah,
White
so for
Claws.
me, I'm at 55. So I would say middle ground here looks like it's like 53.
cool.
Cool. Everyone cool with that?
Yurt.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
So
cool.
Reminiscence slotted in at 53, right below F9 and above the Tomorrow War. That was a movie.
Certainly was a movie.
They all are.
Was a movie. What is our next review topic here, guys? I actually forgot to check.
Is
Let's
it
see.
Shang-Chi or Candyman?
It is Candyman.
Candyman.
I gotta fucking go watch that too. I'm gonna see if I can watch it in Phoenix.
You think you're gonna do are you gonna do a double feature, Blake? OG and the new one?
If I got time, I'm
Can you
gonna try
find
to.
OG anywhere?
I mean, you'll be on a plane.
It was on Netflix for a while, dude.
Was it? We'll have to
Yeah.
double check that.
Oh, that's a good point, Nathaniel.
I would
Well,
like
I
to
can
get
find the
into the first
OG
one.
on the plane. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ty.
I was just saying I would like to watch the OG before.
Yeah,
It's one of those ones that it could very well be
It
on
was
like a
definitely on
Tubi.
there within the past few months.
It airs on TV on the Sci-Fi Channel this week.
You can watch it on
Ah.
Peacock.
Of course you can. It's on Peacock.
Yeah. So I might see to Nathaniel's. That's a good point, dude. I'm gonna see if I can catch the OG on the plane, maybe like
Plane
fly in there or
movie.
something,
Yeah.
and then
Or
I'll
download
see
it.
if I can watch the new release while I'm there.
I'll be honest. I'm excited for this because it looks like good, but I'm also kind of scared. 'cause this
You are
looks like
so
really
scared, and I can tell right away because I'm
I think
scared.
it'll be okay.
It looks scary as
it'll be okay.
balls.
Yeah, it does look very scary. So
I'm hyped.
I will watch this because I have to, but I am not looking forward to it in some aspect. Join us next week for Candyman, ladies and gentlemen. Go see it in theaters if you can. This is probably gonna be one you'd love to see in theaters. We have no 5-star review. Is that right?
No
Nathaniel?
5-star review, but we did get a 1-star review. So if you are listening, Mr. 1-star, I'm not gonna read your stuff out there, but send us an email, and maybe we'll talk about it. Or Mrs. 1-star. It could be either or, I
Yeah,
suppose.
air your grievances with us if you really want to.
Yeah, I'm
Send us
curious.
an email. Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but it is what it is. They can't all be 5 stars.
Thanks, anyways.
Yeah, thanks for the
Yeah, I mean,
the engagement.
Thanks for the feedback. Yeah, engagement. Well, positive, negative engagement. It's still engagement.
No such thing as
Uh,
bad publicity, right?
there
That's
you
what they say.
There you go. Please share the podcast. Share it with a friend, a family member, a long lost lover that you're trying to hunt down, and maybe her co-conspirators.
If you can dive into people's memories, check around, see if they've been listening to us, and if not, maybe just give them a recommendation as they leave.
Or just play it for them while they're asleep.
Well, that's not a
So
bad
that-
one either.
See what happens.
If you are asleep and you're listening to this, you want to make a sandwich when you get up. It's going to be a very good sandwich. So there's a little freebie for you guys.
All right, and then follow the show on Twitter at Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod, on YouTube it's just Back Row Banter. Go subscribe to us there, even if it's not your primary place of listening. Excuse me, and then our email for any questions, comments, concerns, grievances, anything of the sort is backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. BlakeHolder, where can the people find you at, my man?
Letterboxd. I'll be on there faithfully logging / reviewing / putting stars on films I enjoy, do not enjoy, and somewhat enjoy. You can find me on there, BlakeHolder. What's up?
I said, is that the scale?
Yeah. So yeah, you can find me on there, BlakeHolder. So yeah, we'll see what's going on. I'll probably put some thoughts down for Candyman. I was kind of anticipating this one, so we'll definitely be interested to see what's going on with this.
I was so happy to see Tony Todd last week, and now we get to see him again.
Yeah. Yeah. Who would have thought? He's going to be on the Entropy list just as much as we've got Hugh Jackman.
True.
Wow, joining a high class there.
Definitely.
I wonder who is the most featured actor on the Entropy list. That could be a fun episode.
I was just going to ask that. It was like, can anybody quick bets?
Daniel Kaluuya has 2.
Sure.
So we got a lot of people with 2.
We do have a lot of people with 2. Who would have 3?
I don't know. This is a topic for another time.
You know what? I would say the superhero movie, the DC superheroes, because Wonder Woman, I guess Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman 1984, and then both Justice Leagues, if you want to go that route.
Answer.
And she's in. Oh, she's not in F9.
I was gonna say, is she in F9? Any flashbacks to her?
She's not.
No?
Okay. I don't think so.
No, I think you may have nailed it. I think it may be her or Ben Affleck. You know, I mean, something of that nature. It's probably Gal Gadot.
I think it'd be Gal Gadot.
We got both Wonder Womans, and she's in.
Yeah, that's 4 movies right there.
Gal Gadot it is. Popcorn Nathaniel.
So yeah, I'm doing my own thing there. I feel like there's going to be one there that none of us know or think about until later.
Well, Vera Farmiga is in all 3 Conjurings. And another one?
See the sneaky. I don't know, but anyways, we'll talk about it later.
What else is she in? She is in something else.
It's King Kong.
She's in 2 of the Godzillas.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, so she's at 5. She may be the winner.
She might be it. And I guess Patrick Wilson is in 4 because he's in Insidious and then all 3 Conjurings.
Yeah.
So the horror guys really.
No, the Vera Farmiga. That was a good. Who brought that up? Was that Adam?
I think Nathaniel was looking for it, but then I saw the Conjuring, so I was like, and I saw Vera Farmiga on the Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah,
she's definitely. Like, oh, wait.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, who'd you kick it off to, Nathaniel? Why don't you
yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Yeah, where can you find me? Sorry. You can find me on Letterboxd and Twitter at @NSGangrick. You can find me on Instagram at NathanielG92. Check out the other podcasts, Sandpiper Tapes. If you haven't yet, maybe do. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Tyler, talk to me. Or don't.
Oh, he took his headset off or something.
Here he is.
Tyler?
Tyler, hello?
All right, well, he's muted for something.
Turn.
I'll go for now. You can find me on Twitter at H24 and on Letterboxd at H. At some point, I will get to my backlog of movies I need to go back and review. I kind of just do that every once in a while, but I haven't in a long, long time. But I'll do it, and maybe you can catch up with me there. Catch up with me on Twitter if you feel so inclined. I love Twitter. I spend too much time on it. I should really look into that and get that off my phone. Ty, still not here. So
hey, real quick too. I don't know if Vera Farmiga is in Godzilla vs. Kong.
I think she's in 2. Maybe she's only in one of them.
She's in King of Monsters, so she may not have the crown. I don't know if she's in 5 movies.
All right. Well, then she's tied with Patrick Wilson and Gal Gadot. 4 is the running number here. I feel like she might have been in one more that we're just forgetting about, but I could be wrong. Who knows? I'll plug Ty for him. It looks like he might be having some mic problems because we can't hear Ty. I can see him, can't hear him.
I am back. Yeah, I figured you were gonna let Blake go, and then I was gonna just fill in after Blake.
Blake went a while ago, bud.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, never
You're
mind.
good. Well, you're the last one. Finish us out.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch every now and then, and I am also on you know what it is. If you watch it, you know what it is. And then Letterboxd, Twitter, and Instagram are all Tyler Vidales, VIDALES.
Cool. Well, that's it for episode 67. Reminiscence. Join us next week, of course, for Candyman.
I think we said it 5 times now, so we all gotta
motherfucker. I've got a mirror right next to me, too. I will not be sleeping tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, join us next week. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll be RB.
Hey, everyone, you be excellent to each other, and we will be RB.
Thanks for stopping by. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, do whatever you gotta do to help us grow. We really appreciate everything that you can and will do for us. And yeah, just be good to everyone. Spread that love. We'll be RB.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for stopping by as always. If you could please tell a friend to tell a friend about the podcast, that'd be awesome. And if you don't, that's still cool. As long as you listen, that's greatly appreciated. That's all I got for you guys this week. We'll be RB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
Hey, Nathaniel, you still follow baseball, right? Or I guess even Adam or Ty. You guys follow baseball well?
Yeah, I've been following a lot this year, more than I usually do, honestly.
Ever since the Cubs started just sucking ass, I just gave up. I didn't care.
I'd keep an eye.
I was gonna
on it.
ask, do the Sox have like a legitimate chance at doing
Yes.
anything?
Yeah, I mean the Sox are good.
Because they're like on ESPN every fucking morning, dude.
Yeah, no, they have a good chance. I don't know who's gonna stop the Giants or the Dodgers in the AL because they're looking mean. But the Yankees have been coming back, and the Sox have been looking nice. Those two.
So, okay, I'm bad at telling the differences in AL and NL. So what are the Cubs and the Sox are in different leagues, right?
Correct. Cubs are in the National League.
Okay.
Sox are in the American League. They're both in the Central divisions of both leagues, so NL Central and AL Central. Sox have a 100% chance of getting to the playoffs at this point. That's what the projections tell us because they have had a very large lead in their division for a long time, so they pretty much have a 100% chance to make it. Cubs have like a 0% chance now. They sold half their team about a month ago, and traded.
Okay, I remember that. Yeah. There's a lot of people pissed off.
Yeah, so that's been downhill ever since. And then the NL West has 3 of the best teams in baseball all competing in the same division. So it's the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Padres. The Padres have fallen off, but they were favored to win. And then the Giants.
I know the Dodgers are good. The Dodgers won last year, right?
They did.
And they've been like in contention the past like 3 or 4 years.
They haven't. No, they've been in contention the past like 5 years. They've been a good team for a long time.
Okay.
They finally won last year, and then they were good, not amazing, up until about 3 weeks ago when the trade deadline happened, and they just made a ton of upgrades and got even better players somehow. And now they're just like a super. Okay. Yeah, they're like the Brooklyn Nets, man. They're like a super team now.
Okay.
And
but the Sox have to go through them because they're in the same. Like they would face each other in the semifinals.
They would face each other in the World Series.
Oh, okay. So the Sox
the NL,
are in the AL.
The NL and the AL play each other in the World Series. Whoever wins.
Okay, I got you.
So the Sox can still get to the World Series.
So they can go to the World Series.
The Sox' biggest competition right now is the Yankees. Yankees had a bad start to the season, had a mediocre middle season, and they've been the best team in baseball since like July 17th.
But
they beat the Yankees
right around the time they traded for Rizzo.
When they played that joint like in Iowa, right? Like in the cornfield. Didn't they play the Yankees?
They did. Yeah, they beat them in that game. Yeah.
Okay.
Bryant went to the Giants, right?
Bryant went to the Giants, yeah. And the Giants are still in first place in the
Yeah, they're
NL
still the best team
West.
in baseball, aren't they? The other team you got to work out for.
They're a complete sleeper. Like, no one expected them to be good this year, and they've had the best record in baseball for most of the season.
The other guy you got to look out for are the Rays, too, right?
The Rays are doing good, but they're not like standing out, in my opinion. The Rays are 4.5 games above the Yankees right now. They're still good. I mean, they have one of the best records for sure. But the Giants still have the best record in baseball right now. They're 80-44. So they've almost won twice as many games as
Yes,
they
they're
lost.
almost at 750.
Yeah,
that's actually really impressive.
Yeah, and no one expected them to be good. Like they came out of nowhere, and
Right.
they've been just really solid. And everyone kept expecting them to fall off, and they never have. And then they didn't make a lot of trades at the deadline, but they made a few, and they got Chris Bryant from the Cubs, who's been able to because he played like
okay, yeah, that
Chris
name
Bryant
sounds familiar. That guy's
traditionally
good,
is a
right?
third baseman. That's what he played most of his career. But this last year, the Cubs had like 2 or 3 third basemen. And so he's just been playing, just to keep him in the lineup, he's been playing right field, first base, center field,
Right.
left field. Like,
But
he's been
that's how
playing
good he
wherever
is. That he right. You
exactly.
can
That's
just
how
put him
good he
elsewhere.
is. And
Right.
so he
That
filled
shows a
in
lot.
on the Giants roster where they just need a bat to keep him in the lineup, and so they'll play him wherever they don't whoever they're like subbing out that day for a rest day or whatever. So they
Right.
play him almost every game because
Okay.
he just can. So the Giants are looking to hold that division. But the Dodgers are climbing up on them. Dodgers are only 2.5 games back. They were about 6 games back like 2 weeks ago. So the Dodgers have been coming up on them. But both teams, I think the Dodgers and the Giants are pretty much set to be in the playoffs. As far as like the wild card seats go, the Dodgers are 9.5 games above the Reds, who are in the second place for the wild card. So both the Giants and the Dodgers are basically guaranteed a playoff spot. And then the Reds just passed the Padres, which was very surprising for the second wild card spot, because the Reds have just been doing very mediocre and they didn't really make any big acquisitions at the deadline, but they somehow have been winning. Like they'll win like 2 out of 3, 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3. Like they'll win like random ass games and just somehow they have a winning record. So we'll see what happens, man. But this year's been actually a really good year for baseball. It's been fun to watch.
I don't pay attention too much. Yeah,
You're going robot on us here, Blake.
I see my
Yeah, you're robotic here, Blake.
I might have to go no video. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
But yeah, my buddy sent me something for when the White Sox play the Red Sox, which is like September 11th, I think, or September 10th, whatever day that weekend is. But it's like a pretty good deal, dude. I think it's like a ticket and like 3 drinks or something, and it's like $40, dude.
Nice.
Like something crazy, you know what I mean? So that's actually not
That's
that
a
bad of
great
a deal
deal.
for like a team that's actually good. It's not like you're going to like a doormat game,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I might check that out.
Yeah, not bad at all. At US or whatever it's called. Is it Cellular? No, it's Great
Yeah, I have
Rate.
no idea what it. I used to be called U.S. Cellular
Yeah, it was
Field.
US Cellular. I think it's like Guaranteed Rate Field now.
Mm.
Something stupid.
U.S. Cellular, man. I remember them. They had a.
That was great service.
Yeah, they weren't bad, surprisingly.
Yeah, I'm telling
That's
you,
how
I,
then,
I
like,
had US Cellular for the longest time in high school. It was the only thing I ever used, and I
Really?
never ever had an issue. And I was like one of my only friends that ever had, like, never had an issue with service.
Mm.
And then they sold.
Yeah, I've never been able. Who did they sell to? Did they sell to Sprint?
I think so.
Yeah,
That sounds about right, but I don't know.
I've had Verizon. I have AT&T now. I'm cool with AT&T. I've never been able to do T-Mobile. Everyone I know who's at T-Mobile has like no fucking service ever.
Yeah, T-Mobile's dog shit.
Yeah.
We'll see how they are when they finally merge the networks with Sprints, but I don't know.
Doubt anything will change.
I doubt I'll like mobile anymore. Probably hate it more, to be honest.
I didn't know you liked it to begin with.
I never said I liked it. I just said I'd hate it more. And
That's
I
all
hate it
matters.
now. All right, do it.